Joe Rogan has entered the chat. Who has not entered the chat when it comes to these two? And this crazy story of Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively, and Ryan Reynolds, because Joe Rogan has officially blasted Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds.
You've been following the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively thing?
Bro, Blake Lively, talk about ruin your reputation, and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, Ryan's trying to get out of it now. He's trying to get out of the lawsuit, and they're like, you were a key part.
Joe Rogan becomes the latest celebrity to blast Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds.
Hollywood apni golden couples SE Pyar Karta Hai, Wo Tasveer JC perfect relationships Joe Hakikat SE Zyada Ek Kahani Lagdi Hain. Blake Lively or Ryan Reynolds KO Hamesha SE Industry Kus Sabs Pasandita Joran Main Shumar Kia Gaya Hai. Anka Hansmuk Mazaj, Dilkash Shaksiat or.
How's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are all smiles amid their ongoing legal battle. On Sunday night, the couple attended the SNL 50, the anniversary special in New York City, posing for photos on the red carpet. For the event, Blake wore a silver gown that featured flowers, while her husband wore a classic tuxedo. Following the carpet, Ryan and Blake also made a cameo in the live special.
Joe Rogan key entry Hodi Hai, Wo Bibake, No Nonsense Podcast King Joe Jishi, Be Controversial Maazu Esi Gabradanahi. Or is Dafa Ankanishana? Koi or Nahi, Baki Blake Lively or Ryan Reynolds. The Joe Rogan Experience Ko Ek Hail Hai Ko Episode Main. Rogan Eni Ek Isa Bombshell Jaraya Joe Sapko Hiren Kargaya. Asn Ink Risht Ko Ek Sochi Samji PR Strategy Karadia or Ishara Dia
Is the latest personality celebrity to come forward and defend sweet Justin Baldoni, calling out Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, saying they effed up. Joe's spot on. Brandon and Joe are spot on, and it's just encouraging to see more big personalities, outlets, celebrities just talking about it realistically and not the way Blake and Hollywood is trying to spin it, which a lot in Hollywood are. Now, clearly Joe's not afraid. He says what he wants. He always has. But still, it's still a massive, big platform, and to see him out there talking about it honestly and actually sharing the proper facts can't help Blake and Ryan. They must not like seeing such big personalities and people with so much sway.
Jab Internet Parya Bihaz Shididik TR Karleti Hai, Hollywood Ku and our Kalog or Dusser Celebrities, Bias Mamalpar Apni Raideen Lactane. Yetanaza Absal Ki Sabs Sayada Charchabat on Main Shumar Ho Raha Hai. To Chaley is drama Ki Garayan Main Jengtain.
Ryan Reynolds and Blake being there. Why were they there? They were there because I think they both hosted. If you have hosted, you are invited. You can come to any of those events, correct?
Yes, and of course, we all know this, whatever. I don't do a deep dive on it, but there's some kind of legal action with some actor, Baldinos. It sounds like some kind of pasta place.
The context, though, if it turns out that Blake Lively made up all of her harassment complaints. So, I mean, imagine if it was reversed, where you could only you can deep dive into it, but that's obviously why the nuance there of why people were like, "Yikes."
Joe Rogan Apni Bot Guma Firakar Kenwalan Main Esi Nahihain or Jab on Hone Blake or Ryan Ka Zikarkia. To Unka Leja Bilkul Be Halkafolka Nahida. Unhone Ek AC Bot Parashni Dali Joe Shayad Bohat Logon.
You've been following the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively thing?
Bro, Blake Lively, talk about ruin your reputation, and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, Ryan's trying to get out of it now. He's trying to get out of the lawsuit, and they're like, you were a key part of this.
This is what you get, though. This is what you get. You're trying to ruin a guy's livelihood by using the Me Too movement.
Because they were trying to take over the movie.
Yeah.
They were trying to take over the movie and the whole franchise. He owned the franchise. The whole thing's crazy. And he's suing the New York Times, and he's got a great case there,
He's going hard
too.
in the paint. But that's what it takes.
That's what it takes.
It's like Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
He's like, all right.
Yeah.
He did it for the boys.
Exactly. You got to do it.
You need to be like, nah, man, I ain't going out like this.
Rogan Kumitabik. Jabi Ryan Ki Koi Film Aki Perform Nahi Kara Hi Hodia Jab Ya Couple Public Ki Nazron Main Rena Chadahai. Akanak Inky Relationship Se Judah Ek Naya Viral Story Samni Aa Jadahai. Chahiwo Ek Mazakia Twitter Exchange Hoya Jishi Red Carpet Par Ek Dil Chileno Walalama. In Kahanian Ka Timing Aksar Hiran Kuan Hodahai. Rogan ka kena hai ku unka couple gold.
Yeah, especially a guy like that who's like known as being like this really sweet, nice guy.
Yep.
And then it's like, all right,
Dude,
enough.
he posted the receipts.
Oh,
He's like, oh,
receipts are
remember our
crazy.
text exchange? Bah, bah,
Well, how about she
bah,
told
bah.
him to to come into the dressing room while she was breastfeeding,
You're fine
and then
ass.
part of the complaint was that he came into the dressing room while I was breastfeeding. Like you literally have a text exchange back and forth. They just never thought that anybody was going to come out with the receipts
Because no one's ever done it. Because everyone usually just bows
because everyone's
down.
scared.
Yeah.
Because Ryan Reynolds A-list, Blake Lively A-list. Like don't.
But that wasn't the only thing he called out. Rogan also took aim at Blake Lively's girl next door persona, implying that the actress isn't as sweet as she appears online. According to him, she has a reputation for being highly controlling on set and keeping a tight grip on the narratives surrounding her career. You don't see her hanging out with a lot of A-list Hollywood women, Rogan pointed out. That's not by accident. AS for Ryan Reynolds, Rogan suggested that his nice guy image might be nothing more than a facade. Deadpool isn't just a character, it's his shield, Rogan claimed. Behind the scenes, he's a businessman first and foremost. You don't build a multi-million-dollar empire by just being funny and lovable. These comments sent shockwaves through Hollywood, with social media erupting in debates over whether Rogan was exposing hidden truths or simply stirring the pot.
Well, guys, Joe Rogan has now made it clear what side he is on in the Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds versus Justin Baldoni of it all. In the most recent episode of his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, he called Justin Baldoni sweet. He says they effed up, referring to Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. He says that Ryan Reynolds is now trying to get out of it, and they're just like, dude, like, you're a key player in this. You can't just get out of this. And he also says they ruined their reputation. So let's...
Because Joe Rogan has officially blasted Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, welcome to the club, for suing sweet Justin Baldoni. He says they effed up. He mentioned this on his podcast on Saturday. The best part about it is that he did this with 3 other guys in a room while they were watching boxing. It's the best guys podcast moment ever. Check it out. 4 guys sitting around watching boxing, eating snacks, drinking sodas, whatever, and talking about real life things. Because these are men who could easily have been in the same position as Justin Baldoni. And they're saying that no one ever fights back because it's the machine. It's Justin Baldoni versus the machine of Hollywood. Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively. And the thing is, using that Me Too movement, which is a woman using the words sexual assault or sexual harassment, everyone bows down. They're like, we can't fight back. But Justin Baldoni said, "N-O, not this time. I've got the receipts to prove it."
The fallout from Rogan's comments was immediate. Within hours, Twitter and Instagram turned into battlegrounds, with fans fiercely divided, some backing Rogan's claims, while others rushed to defend Blake and Ryan. But what truly escalated the situation was how other celebrities began weighing in. One of the first to speak up was Hugh Jackman, known for his well-documented friendship with Ryan Reynolds. In a subtle yet telling move, Jackman posted a throwback picture of himself and Ryan with a caption, "Some friendships are built on honesty and loyalty." While he didn't directly address Rogan's comments, fans immediately took it as a clear show of support.
Is your chair, like, higher than mine? Your chair looks higher than mine.
Yeah, why?
It does.
What, does that matter?
I actually need the taller chair because I have a short torso. That's true. I actually have I'm 6'2", but
Oh my God, I'm so bored right now.
It's just a little thing. I've had to deal with this my whole life. Oh my God, where are you going?
Right back, just a second.
What?
Please.
What are you doing?
Yeah, look.
Dude, we got a job. What are you...
Easy, okay? Can I just get a little light, like, piano, PSA kind of music here for a second? That's nice. That's nice. We hear so much about afflictions like obesity, stage 6 tuberculosis, but there is an ailment that doesn't get enough attention. That's TTS, tiny torso syndrome. Do you know that 1 in every Hugh Jackman suffers from this disorder? Yes, he is a world-famous millionaire who sleeps on 16,000 thread count Giza cotton sheets. But that doesn't mean he doesn't feel. So if you see him and you can breach his 6-person security team, don't say, "Hey man, why is your belt chafing your nipples?"
On the other hand, a well-known Hollywood producer, speaking anonymously to Variety, suggested that Rogan wasn't entirely wrong. Ryan and Blake have one of the most controlled brands in Hollywood, the producer revealed. Everything they do, every spontaneous social media post. It's all part of a
giving it to you. Why and how do big PR companies or celebrities control social media platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, X, YouTube? This is something we've been seeing a lot of, right? Content creators constantly saying, I'm being suppressed. I have experienced that on my own platforms. And, I got a comment yesterday saying, well, I don't think it's happening to you because you have a smaller account or you don't have a huge following. That doesn't matter at all. And I'm going to show you guys why it doesn't. And this is literally my zone of genius. This is what I do for a living. So understanding how this is done is important for me because it impacts my clients and impacts myself. So it does not matter how big your following is. It does not matter if you're a big name in, the mommy sleuth zone. If there is suppression going on, you are going to get hit. And understanding how and why puts the power back, not just in the creator's hands, but in your hands as well. In the community, those that are passionate about Justin Baldoni and justice for Justin, or any other realm of justice that you're looking to have, right? When we understand media and what's going on,
I don't know if Blake would have still gone through with the whole sexual harassment of it, because technically that's separate when you think of it, the smear campaign versus the sexual harassment.
Yeah, they're not.
But I don't think Blake didn't really, she still has no evidence for the sexual harassment. That's what people are sitting and wondering. They're like, so, because they keep talking about the smear campaign now, they're not really touching on the sexual harassment part of it. And it's what happened to that? Because that's what actually was a huge part of the New York Times article. And that's why a lot of people in the beginning were on Blake's side, because when a woman comes forward and says that, you most likely would think she would be telling the truth, especially such a person in the spotlight.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Stephanie Jones definitely was pot stirring big time.
Meanwhile, actress Jessica Chastain was one of the few A-list women who spoke out in defense of Blake Lively. She tweeted, "Blake has always been kind and professional. People love tearing women down for being successful." Her statement ignited an even bigger conversation about how female celebrities are often held to a different standard than their male counterparts. Even Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who worked closely with Reynolds in Red Notice, subtly weighed in by liking a tweet that read, "Joe Rogan has a history of attacking people for no reason. Maybe he should take a look in the mirror."
And it's there's a million things that contribute to that. I mean, obviously, first, just being able to look around and have the room stay. Getting good spatial audio, right? If someone speaks, then it should do the audio needs to be 3D and come from the place where they're speaking. It's very interesting which things end up being important for this kind of creating this sense of presence and which don't. So having hands, obviously, if you're just looking around but you can't actually move things, that breaks the illusion. But having hands, hand tracking that you can do stuff is important.
It was clear that the debate had split Hollywood in two. While some saw Rogan's comments as an unfair attack, others believed he was simply saying out loud what many in the industry had been whispering about for years. Clip 11.
For what it is, because let's be honest, Hollywood doesn't like that. They don't like us being honest. They don't like us telling you the truth. They try to to massage everything into their narratives, right? And that's what these big A-list stars, as Joe's implying, do. Ryan and Blake, as we know, we're trying to cover this up. Ari Emanuel, all these people trying to keep this up and say, oh yeah, believe the woman, believe Blake, she's telling the truth. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. So kudos to Joe and Brandon for bringing this out. It's nice to see them out there doing it for the boys. Yeah, well, doing it for all of it, I would say. Doing it for all of us. Because, again, abuse shows no gender, as we learned with Johnny Depp. Women can be bad. Men can be bad. Yeah, we should listen to everybody. If they got a complaint, if you're going to come forward and make this complaint, you want to assume they're not lying and making stuff up. But sometimes they're over-exaggerating and such, as I think is happening in this situation. So,
while some may dismiss Rogan's remarks as nothing more than gossip, there's no denying that Hollywood is, first and foremost, a business. Branding and public image play a crucial role in maintaining a celebrity's marketability, and many actors carefully craft their personas to stay appealing to audiences.
What point did it become clear to you that Blake Lively was the aggressor in this now epic showdown? Was it right after was it when Baldoni dropped the countersuit? Was it when Brian Friedman put up the website with the 170 pages and all the text? Or was it right away when the Times wrote?
Right away, I've always had an intuition about her, and I've always had an intuition about Taylor Swift and like the branding of the nice girl stuff. And something just didn't. I went through Justin Baldoni's Instagram, and he just seemed like a puppy. And I read it just didn't add up to me that this guy was secretly just dying to talk about pornography all the time and talk about his porn addiction and wanted her to look at pornography. I'm going, this is not the Instagram feed I'm looking through. And I went back years, and I was frustrated by how nice
phony,
he was.
And he's doing TED Talks about, we men need to be better. I mean, he's that man bun, male apologist. That it would really fly in the face of everything he's put out there about himself.
Ryan Reynolds, in particular, has mastered this art. From his witty social media presence to his highly successful business ventures like Aviation Gin and Mint Mobile, he has built an empire that extends far beyond acting. But with such careful control over his image, could it also mean that some of it isn't entirely genuine? Blake Lively, too, has remained notoriously private when it comes to interviews and personal details. While she presents herself as approachable and relatable on social media, she is rarely seen within Hollywood's inner circles. Some industry insiders argue that this is by design, suggesting that she prefers to control her own narrative rather than be influenced by others.
Blake Lively writes, I can send you my pass at the roof, or just read with you when we get together next week. Let me know what you prefer, smiley face. If you knew me in person longer, you'd have a sense of just how flirty and yummy the ball busting would play. It's my love language, spicy and playfully bold, never with teeth. And him serving it back to her is just as important. You don't usually see both the man and the woman with such agency and humor. Anyway, I can act it out for you next week to make sure it comes through. Or I can send it now. Let me know what you prefer. XX. To which Justin Baldoni responded, Sorry, I was just crying my eyes out as kids and family just left for another 5 weeks and it was a shit show. Heart emoji, heart emoji, heart emoji.
Rogan's argument isn't just about whether Blake and Ryan's relationship is real. It's about how much of Hollywood's authenticity is actually a carefully crafted illusion. In an era where audiences are becoming more aware of celebrity PR tactics, his comments have struck a nerve, forcing many to question.
Before we get into this, I'm going to be referring to her as B, not her name, because anytime I say her name or her husband's name, apparently my videos are now having audio glitches. Thanks to her little ex-CIA agent. Her little ex-CIA agent is really trying to silence us. Too bad that won't stop me. Anywho, yesterday I posted this video about B, her hubby, and Taylor all losing tons of IG followers. And after that video where it showed that she had lost 285K in the last 30 days, it seems like yesterday was a day that a lot of people decided to hit the unfollow button as well. I checked today, so yesterday was Wednesday the 12th. She lost 109,306 followers in 24 hours. And maybe that's why she's been on a little posting spree. I know she's promoting her other movie, but she has been posting a lot, and I feel like it has to do with the fact that she knows she's losing lots of followers. And since this feud happened, so I would say like August 2024, Blake has lost over 1.2 million IG followers. But in December, the month when she dropped the New York Times article, that is when she lost the fewest number of followers. And from December 21st to January 3rd is when she actually gained 46,000 followers. But then January happened. January is when Justin Baldoni countersued, and that is when she saw the biggest drop among followers, which was 329,000.
One of the most surprising aspects of this whole controversy is how quiet Blake and Ryan have been. Neither of them has publicly addressed Rogan's claims, and in Hollywood, silence can sometimes say more than words. If they do choose to respond, they have two options. They could take the humorous route, something Ryan Reynolds is famous for, by making a joke about the situation and turning it into yet another viral moment. Or they could simply ignore it altogether, banking on the idea that the news...
The outing marked Blake and Ryan's first public appearance together since the beginning of their legal battle, with Blake's It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni.
Meanwhile, Rogan's podcast episode continues to gain traction, with more people dissecting his words and questioning just how much truth there is to them. If more industry insiders step forward with similar claims, This could be just the beginning of a much larger conversation about Hollywood's obsession with crafting perfect images. Either way, the facade of perfection surrounding Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds has been cracked. Whether it shatters completely remains to be seen.
What is your favorite reason to give or receive flowers? For me, it's being in love, but I'd love to know what it is for you.
Just random.
Just
random
because?
Flowers. Just a flower and you're like, what? What is
Yeah,
this? My
it just
husband
makes your
does that
day.
sometimes, which is like a note and a flower. It's incredible.
At the heart of this controversy lies a much bigger question. How much of what we see in Hollywood is real? Do celebrities like Blake and Ryan truly have a flawless marriage, or are they simply playing the roles that keep them relevant?
Now, do you think that Ryan Reynolds was a fan of Joe Rogan before this? And do you think this is going to really upset him? I think this is a huge blow to Ryan Reynolds' ego. Oof. Who's next to speak up against Ryan and Blake?
Joe Rogan's words may have been harsh, but they've forced people to take a closer look at how the entertainment industry truly operates. In a world where PR teams meticulously shape every aspect of a celebrity's public life, perhaps the only thing that's truly authentic is the fact that nothing is as it seems to S.O. What do you think? Is Joe Rogan onto something, or is this just another case of Hollywood drama? Let us know in the comments below.